Hello, sewing and crafting friends. Thanks for visiting the TurboPurr channel. This is Ramona, and we're here because we love sewing, crafting, and cats. Today I'm showing you the American Heritage Journal cover that I created recently. This was inspired by America 250, and let's get started. These are the supplies that I used. I used things that I already had on hand. Part of the challenge was to use an item that was recycled or reused. And the reused item that I started with was cardboard. So I cut up a box that I had and uh, cut it into these three sections. And I have vinyl underneath, which is the outside of the book cover. I had lots of different adhesives that I used. I really like a strong double-sided tape, so I used that quite a bit. I also used glue, and I used um, rubber cement as well on some of the paper. I layered the three sections of the cardboard with a firm backing. This is the sort of material that is used for if you were going to make something like a portfolio or a bag, something with a texture of Pellon where it's quite stiff and roughly maybe an eighth of an inch in width. But I layered that with the cardboard to give it a little more stability. And I took the faux vinyl or faux leather that I had, vinyl, and I wrapped it around the three sections of cardboard at the edges using the double-sided tape to hold it on. And there is a little gap between the three pieces of the cardboard. This is to allow the whole section to fold like a book. So there needs to be a little bit of wiggle room between that cardboard to allow the pieces to fold. I used decorative paper to cover the inside. Um, the paper was not wide enough to cover the whole thing, so I cut the paper into sections, and then later I cut a separate strip to cover that center where it overlaps. The challenge that I had with this was not actually focused on the interior of the book as much as the exterior of the book. I did um, use some eyelets on the inside and attach some pages inside the book so that I could keep um, some sketches or other papers inside in an organized way. With a project like this, there's also an option if you wanted to just create some paper pockets on the inside covers that would also allow you to store papers in a book like this. Because I was going with a patriotic theme and thinking of America 250, I did a little bit of online research and printed out on my home printer um, a scaled down copy of the Declaration of Independence. And because I wanted the cover of this journal to be roughly 6 inches wide by 9 inches tall, I cut a sheet of plain white printer paper the size that I wanted, the 6 by 9 inch, and then I cut the printed out decorative paper sliced and split it so that it would fit. And my intention was to have this decorative stripe going down the front. And you see it in red. I used the silver colored rickrack and applied it to the outside edges of a piece of red cardstock. And then I've got double-sided tape that you can see on the back of the red cardstock, getting ready to apply that. So this is the outside, the vinyl of the journal cover. You can see that I've folded the strip of red cardstock with the rickrack edging over the decorative paper, and on top of that, the blue ribbon with the white stars is a nice accent on top of that. So here is the Declaration of Independence book cover. I used the Brother Scan and Cut to cut the ovals from the vinyl and the silver decorative cardstock. The silver decorative cardstock is really quite firm, and so I layered those pieces together, and I wanted to go also with the theme of 1776, so I took a small strip of red cardstock and I simply made a lot of partial cuts in it with scissors in order to create something that looked like a quill feather pen. And I took a toothpick and markers, and as you can see here, I used a red marker on the top of the toothpick and a dark marker on the bottom of the toothpick to make it look like a quill feather pen and nib, look like ink on the bottom of the quill feather. And here is the finished front of the journal cover. And on the side, I wanted to add a little accent. So I took a small ribbon and a white button, keeping with the color theme on the front of the cover, and glued those to the spine of the book. And I hope that you have found some ideas for your own projects for America 250. And I wish you a very happy day. Thank you for joining me today on the TurboPurr channel. If you have any comments about what you're doing in your craft room, I'd love to hear them in the comments. Thank you so much and have a wonderful day.